Hello, Grace Baptist Church family. Just wanted to give you some updates on our in-person services. And so I have a few things that we want to mention before everybody comes for that first service. First thing I'd like to say is if you are high risk or you consider yourself high risk, that is perfectly fine, and feel free to stay at home for whatever reason. If you think I'm in that age group that they are wondering about, or if you think that would include you, I'm not going to stand there at the door, or no one is, and check your ID as you come in. There's no standard for us. But if you feel like you're high risk, then feel free to stay at home. That we understand. Don't think that somebody's going to think anything ill because of that. We're fine. Or if you feel like your health condition makes you in the high risk category and you don't want to be exposed to people in that way, we understand that as well. Not a problem, so that's fine. And I will say, if you feel like you are sick, whether it's with whatever illness it is, just like you do if during cold and flu season and that type of thing, you don't want to expose others to what you have, please practice that same thought. Or if you have a fever and you think, well, I've been tested negative for the COVID-19, but I still have a fever. Well, just out of general welfare of health, stay at home. It's fine. We want you to do that. Stay home, please, for that. Or maybe you've been exposed to someone, you're not sure if you have it or not, then we ask you again, stay at home out of consideration for others as well. We are still going to attempt to record the services in the way that we have been recording them. So we'll have the camera set up for the recording, so it might look a little different in that way. But for those that have to stay home or desire to stay home because of feeling like you might be at risk, then you will be able to watch the videos of the service there on YouTube, just as you have been. But it won't be exactly, if we record the Wednesday evening service or the Sunday evening service as normal, for the actual regular time, then that means they will be on a little bit later, probably the next day, as opposed to the actual Wednesday or the actual Sunday. So you can still watch them, it'll just be a little different. It might be a day behind. Our first in-person services will be this. For Wednesday, so if you want to write this down or watch it again and be reminded, our first Wednesday service will be May the 20th. That Wednesday, a week from this present Wednesday. So May the 20th, the first Wednesday in-person service. The first Sunday night service will be the 24th. May the 24th, the first Sunday night in-person service. Then the first Sunday morning service will be that following Sunday morning, May the 31st. I know it's Memorial Day, but it'll be a memorable day that we'll be back together for Sunday morning worship service as an in-person worship time. So those are the three dates: May 20th, May 24th, and May 31st. So it's still ahead of schedule than what we thought all along. We thought probably it'd be June. So we're actually ahead of schedule than what we thought it might be. Now, as far as our social distancing, we are asked, and it's asked of churches that they would maintain social distancing in their church. And it's not just our church, it's churches across the U.S. That are trying to practice this. For this, here's the main reason. We want everybody in our best ability to keep everyone safe and healthy. That's our desire. So that's why we are going to be doing these particular guidelines. No congregating together. I know that's contrary to anything that we've ever done before or after service. However, at this time, we're asking that there be no congregating in the foyer or here in the auditorium. No congregating together, and keep that 6 foot distance apart, even in the church building, please. You know, some of you are more comfortable with all of this than others. And so what our desire is to be sensitive to those that are more concerned about it because of their health. And so we don't want to take it lightly. So if you would, let's keep our social distance. And this too will come to an end. We'll get back to normal, but for the present time, we'll do it this way. And we're asking that, if you will, to wear a mask in the building. And if you need the restrooms, if that is something that you need while you're here, then we would encourage you. We'll have the cleaning supplies in there. And we would ask that when you're finished using the restroom facilities, that you will wipe down the area that was used. And of course, as always, wash your hands thoroughly. And we're going to ask that just one person, and this is according to the health guidelines, one person in the restroom at a time. Even though more can fit, we'll ask that just one at a time for this time. In the auditorium, we'll have the seating marked so that you won't have to guess where you might sit. We'll have the seats divided up into people sitting at both ends, and the middle section of the pew will be empty, but people on either end will have the pews that are available to be sat in. We'll have those marked for you as well, and they'll be clearly marked. You won't have to guess. So that'll be taken care of. There will be hand sanitizer in the foyer. Feel free to bring your own. I know they make the little handy travel size now, and maybe you probably have already been using that, but feel free to have that with you as well. Now, during this time, we won't have any children's church provided. We won't have any nursery provided. Again, trying to keep down on that transfer, even at especially that age. Toddlers and younger and children always want to put things in their mouth, and we don't want to bring things from one person's household into the nursery and have it, children being that close together. We'll have a place in the back of the auditorium, a couple of pews on both sides, that for those that have children and are concerned with, if they get rowdy or they maybe make noise or whatever, I'd like to be able to just slip out into the foyer or whatever. Then we're going to have some seating in the back for you all. So feel free. I want you to come, bring your children. It won't be the first time we have children in the auditorium, so don't worry about that. We'll sing and we'll preach just the same, but if you feel like you need to excuse yourself, then you can have a place back there in the back and ready for that. Thank you for being patient with all of this. I mean, from the very get-go, it caught us by surprise that first Wednesday night when I was praying that the Lord would give instruction, give direction on what we needed to do because of the health concerns that was going on. And I prayed for direction, and even that afternoon, we found out that Warren County had the first case. Of course, we didn't know what all that was going to involve, what all it involved the virus did. We weren't sure. And so I took that as direction, and we called everybody that first night and canceled services. Little did we know that the last service we would have would be the Sunday night of missions emphasis. And we didn't know that then. And here we are. Now we're more than 8 weeks past that time. And we are now able to and ready. Of course we're ready, but have the facilities. They'll be prepared and ready for you all to return. And that's our desire. But thank you for being patient. Thank you for praying for us to have wisdom. That has been a constant desire and a constant prayer that we would have wisdom in knowing how to proceed. We've never done this before. It's hard enough to be responsible for the operation and the daily ins and outs and decisions that have to be made by me as the pastor and by me and Brother Andrew, and as we try to look at it as a staff. It's hard enough, and there's enough decisions to be made on a regular basis, on our normal week. And so this has just been abnormal. And so we're asking you to continue to be patient, continue to pray for wisdom for us as we make these decisions. And we want to continue to follow what we believe God is leading us to do. But remember this, God is in control. He has been ever since this first came out. It didn't catch him by surprise. We said that, I believe we did, on the very first video that we made, that it didn't catch God by surprise. He is in control. He's got it taken care of. And we're going to trust him and follow him by faith. And I look forward to getting back together. You're getting ready to have Wednesday night service. And we have just another service to record. And then we'll start having our in-person services. I'm looking forward to that. I know you are too. But pray about it. Pray for God's services, God's moving in the services, no matter how we're doing it, be in prayer for that. And we look forward to seeing you. We love you. We've been praying for you. And I can't wait. So there's many faces in this auditorium. We'll look to see you then.